would say is excitingly in flux. Right now we're in a place where technology is evolving so rapidly that what's possible in terms of new storytelling techniques, new storytelling platforms, seems to be changing every day. And so as a storyteller, I think one of the things that you have to be aware of is, what are the possibilities? What are the emerging technologies? What are the new platforms that are out there? What are the new formats? What are the new ways in which I can reach people that I couldn't do maybe even 6 months ago? So I would say, as from a storytelling standpoint, technology is kind of paving the road that we can drive down in terms of how we tell the stories and how we reach new audiences. Storytelling itself is what I call a universal language. It's the way in which we can learn about not just other people and the way that they live their life, but through those stories we learn about ourselves. Storytelling is essentially a mirror that we can hold up and allow people to learn about their own culture, their own lives, their own troubles. They can see universality and commonality, and they can form therefore a better relationship with the world. And I think when you have a large company or an organization, they're trying to communicate to their message, their story to the rest of the world, and they're trying to get them excited and engaged. And I think what you need to know as an organization or a company is how to tell a meaningful story, and that all starts with, what is my story, right? As a company, who am I? What is my value? What can I show people? What can I tell people that will help them learn about themselves and the world at large? And I think that's where a lot of companies and organizations need storytellers, right? Because that's usually not what they're in the business of, is in terms of basic communication of storytelling and understanding those values that people will respond to, regardless of what their age or their culture or their religion are. The question is, from an ethical standpoint, what obligation do we have as storytellers and game designers to be responsible for how people interact with the world? Take something as simple as Pokemon Go. What are the ethics that were put into that experience? How much did people think about the fact that kids would be out interacting with adults in public places? Is that proper? Is that right? Is that the parents' responsibility, whether they let the kids go out and play the games with adults? Or is that the game designer's challenge, that they should have undertaken that responsibility and said, we're going to have 2 different types of game play available. We're going to have one game that adults can play, and we're going to only put adult content in one part of town and kid content in another. Obviously, these were problems that were not considered or thought through. But I think going forward, these are the types of issues that we're going to have to consider. We're going to have to think about, does one content experience fit all sizes, right? Or do we have to actually be much more cognizant of how our stories, our gaming experiences will resonate with individuals, and start to think about really creating more segmented experiences? But then again, when you go down the path of segmented, sometimes the whole point is to bring people together through story. Right? But what if I'm bringing the wrong people together? Right? That's why I say this is a very kind of interesting, what I call a hairball of consideration. It's very tangled, and I don't know what the answer is. I think this is going to be something where right now we're fumbling around in the dark, and we're just going to have to find our way. And there's going to be big landmark projects and cases that cause us to start writing new rules around the ethics of storytelling.